I am pulling off a feather from Gary Vee's hat from the Ask Gary Vee show. So I have a few of my college students from Transcend Degree College who I thought would be the right people to ask me some questions. So enjoy the next few minutes of conversation. So guys, welcome to my show. Introduce yourselves quickly.
Hey guys, I'm Rutu. I'm studying in second year BCom.
Hey guys, my name is Nishchita. I'm also studying my second year in BCom.
I'm Neha and I'm also doing my second year BCom.
So as students, how do we make money while studying?
Interesting question. A lot of people do ask me this. One, I think making money should be through something called a specific knowledge. That means you need to know about something super specific. Let's say like video editing skills, or let's say you're good at art, painting. I remember some of you came to office and helped me put this wonderful wall art together. And see, that can make you money. But people who can say I'm a jack of all seldom make money. So I think it's the kind of specialized knowledge. You can either acquire it by learning something, or you could be passionate about it. I also had a few people in college itself who kept saying, oh, we bake something at home, like we do cookies, how can we make money? It's simple. After you've given a taster to somebody, have they complimented you and have they told you that, hey, can you do this for me as well? If your cookies are actually good, you don't have to sell, they'll automatically sell themselves. So I just want to say, take specific knowledge and be good at it.
So my question is, if you're good at something and you want to monetize it, how do you sell yourself?
Sell yourself. Very interesting. First, I don't think one mistake that most college students make is they try selling themselves to everybody because they're just in the hurry of making money. But I think understanding who your target audience is the first thing, right? Like for example, if you make cookies, or you make some amazing cake, you can't go to somebody who's 45 and above and sell it because they're extremely sugar conscious. So you have to sell it to maybe your friends who love, eating cookies and there's no health consequence there. So I think first thing is understand your target audience. The second part is don't be afraid to make a mistake, like even while you're selling yourself. Because in America, I don't know if you guys watched Hollywood movies, they usually have lemonade stands, right? They have like basic lemonade stands for like 5 cents. So I feel it's not about that lemonade being good, but if you actually go watch people in America, they just go buy something from that kid simply because he's trying. So my suggestion is just try. And if there are people who genuinely want you to grow, be happy, they will definitely buy and it shouldn't cost them too much. So initially, that's the best way to start. Just try. Second best way is if you're shy, if you can't talk, if you're an introvert kind of a person, Instagram. Just go, you use Instagram, just put it out there on social media. And if you're good, people will find you.
So we spend most of our day in the college only. We spend like 8 hours, almost 8 hours. So how do we fit in the part-time job into our schedule?
Okay, I think that's a great question. After you get into the college, I don't think there's much you could do because college requires a certain amount of commitment. It could be 75 to 85% of attendance. Post that, you have your assignments, you got to go back home, you got to, of course, take some break, chill, and do whatever you do. So, 2 parts. First part, try working in a role or in a job in which you kind of have fun. So that it doesn't seem like a burden after going home. You're like, oh my God, I have to stay up like a zombie and do all of this. I don't suggest work like that. Try taking up something that's fun. So even if you're going and clocking in another 5 hours, it should be more refreshing, not draining. Second, try doing something that is not time bound. For example, let's say data entry. Somebody wants help by just entering numbers, names, email IDs. Great job. You could do that midnight, you could do that 1 hour today and 8 hours on the weekend. So if people are flexible based on time, then I think you should take up that job. So take jobs which can give you time. But if you take up jobs which have everyday responsibilities, I think it's going to be quite hard. Apart from that, If you're 18 years old, then I have another suggestion. Choose the right kind of college. Right, like in Bangalore, if you go to a Christ college, great atmosphere, everything's great, but there's no way you could do a part-time job there because it's hectic from like morning 8 till up till 4:35. But if you go to a college which gives you like timings up till 1:32 or maximum 3, you could always shift your focus towards something else post 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe for a few hours. 2-3 hours a day should be absolutely fine.
My next question is, when students earn money, I've normally heard my parents say, you earn money, now you won't focus in academics because once you get money in your pocket, you're done.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you deal with parents like that?
I don't want to say your parents are wrong. They are right. But I don't think you can ever take a, statement and generalize saying this is for everybody. I think it completely depends on the kind of people. One is, if people don't have freedom, if they haven't tasted freedom a lot in their life, if parents haven't given them freedom, they tend to misuse the freedom, and that is financial freedom that's coming in. So I genuinely feel, I also think it's the opposite. Like, let's see it this way. If I gave you money and you earned 5,000 rupees a month, you automatically feel good. Have you ever felt that when you have money with you, you feel good, you walk good, you talk good? Now, because you feel good, you want more of it. So then you start thinking, okay, I want more money. But then when you go back to your employer and ask, sir, can you give me a little extra money? He's not going to give it to you. He's like, can you work harder? So if you have to work harder, then you'll have to learn skills and you'll have to gain knowledge. Where does that come from? Come back to college, learn it through your extracurricular, learn it through your textbooks and see what matches. So I feel once you earn money, you'll also realize the value of what education and learning is, and maybe even if it doesn't help you directly, maybe you'll start valuing it more so that you can get more upside, let's say, in your job.
So I've applied on a lot of internships on Internshala, but I haven't got any response back.
Okay.
So what do I do in order to get something?
Okay. Nice question again. Internshala was good at a point of time, but right now I don't think it has the best of reviews in terms of getting you internships. In fact, some of them have even been very ugly reviews, so I don't want to comment on a company like that, but I'll leave it there. So I suggest put your eggs in different baskets, try other ways. Now here are two ways that I think are highly recommended. One is go to this place called AngelList or another place called yourstory.com. Type any kind of company's name, or you will see a lot of companies being funded, there's recent news, all of these things. If you can go to any of these companies and figure out that company's name and put it on LinkedIn, you can immediately see if they're hiring for any post. And if they're hiring for an intern, all you have to do is now learn the art of cold emailing. Write a beautiful email and say, hey, listen, I might not have experience, but I know something about this subject and I think I can help you. If you can train me for a week or two, I'm more than happy. Sometimes you can even propose saying that, hey, I don't mind working for free initially so that I get paid from next month. Right? That gives confidence both to the employer and you'll also feel light because there's no high expectations initially. So one is through AngelList. Second is through LinkedIn directly. Go directly to LinkedIn, type a company's name and see multiple people's name pop up. Use your stalking skills here and just hit them up. Just say, hey, listen, I want to help you. Now these are like two big ways of doing direct internships in big companies. I'll tell you a counterintuitive way to do this. You're always on Instagram. This is my suggestion. This is, you could say, my formula. You could always ask for an internship in a place in which you are a customer of. Because in business, customer is king. So you always have the position to go ask for an internship if you're paying them money to say, okay, listen, let's pick a place. Okay, Meesho. Like you might buy a lot of stuff there, right? So you go to that person and say, hey, listen, I've been buying a lot of this. Do you have an Instagram page? Do you want to start one? I'll help you start one. So what also happens is this person knows you because you're the customer. Or let's say your favorite ice cream place, right? It just opened a year back or two and they're just beginning, but you love the ice cream there. You can help them out also. Or even an online store, just DM them, talk to them. I think these are some ways you could actually find an internship.
So you just mentioned how we could ask and search for internships, and here's the thing: how do we get the confidence to go and like approach them for the internship?
Okay. See, confidence I feel is very inherent to yourself, right? Like not everybody can have the same level of confidence, but I think confidence also comes with a little bit of experience. That means if you've tried a few times and like for example, let me give you, let's say you sent 20 emails to 20 different people to give you an internship. Uh, Out of which if all 20 rejected, it would be a hit on your confidence. However, if one or two of them replied, they still replied. So I feel two things to do about confidence here. Number one, understand why you're lacking confidence. Do you feel you're less? Do you feel or is it because you're afraid to fail? Then you remember that everybody who's a great champion who built $1 billion business was once an intern as well. So even you have to start from that internship. Second, if you feel there is a lot of inner voice that's saying, okay, no, you can't do it, no, you can't do it, then I'm saying start small. Don't try doing something big. Start something super small, right? And it could be as simple as getting into your student council or your forum or whatever it is, and just taking up a small little role and see if you like it. If you like it, find a similar job somewhere else outside. So here your success, I mean, there's not much of expectation even if you fail. So rather than doing it directly in a job, do it in college, do it maybe in a group, maybe you're a part of ISEC, maybe you're volunteering like how you guys are volunteering for you and I. So any of these foundations will just give you that spark, because here you could actually make a mistake. Nobody's going to scold you or beat you up. They're just going to give you some feedback. If not, you will realize what you can improve on. And I think you can go from there. Start small, keep it easy. Don't try too hard. Enjoy the process.
So to find the right side hustle we need, we have to start by building up our skills.
Yeah.
And how do you know which skill which is more important for us?
Interesting. Here's the thing. If you don't find a skill that you're passionate about, see, for example, I love speaking, and that's what even I'm doing right now, right? Like, you ask me to speak, you've seen me in class also. Like, even if I've had the worst day, even if I've spoken for 4 hours, I can still push up to do something for the next 2 hours. So, first, if you don't belong to this category where you're passionate about something and you're still trying to figure it out, then I say develop a few skills like generic skills and a few specific skills. Generic skills could be something like communication skills. Specific skills could be something like Microsoft Excel, right? Every company requires a Microsoft Excel. And if you want to do data entry, you need to know basics of Microsoft Excel. Just knowing the software is more than enough. Now, ChatGPT, we were talking about this, right? I was telling you guys about questions and I was saying, hey, if you want to take use of ChatGPT, it's become second nature to us. We use ChatGPT for anything. Now, I'm saying all of these older CEOs don't know how to use ChatGPT. They don't have the time to sit and learn ChatGPT because they're occupied for 12 hours. What if you knew some hacks in ChatGPT that nobody else could know, right? And now ChatGPT, just knowing ChatGPT is a skill. So I'm saying think about it that way. That way you will be able to make money. You will also have a common skill and a general skill and also a specific skill. And I think that's the way to start.
So when we as students start something of our own, it's really hard for adults to take us seriously.
Correct.
Yeah. So how do you like really put it out there saying that I'm real, I'm serious, and I'm down to go any extent for this?
Yes, nice question. And I mean, sometimes even I struggled with it when I was in my college time, and fair, like I do get it. But I've also realized that at some point of time, you have to understand why they're not taking you seriously. They're not taking you seriously because you are not giving serious results. For instance, once my father told me, listen, do you think it's easy to ask for 3,000 rupees pocket money in a month? You go earn 3,000 rupees and come back. But little did my father expect that I'd actually do it. So and once I did it, he actually took me seriously and he was like, man, listen, you don't have to go work now. I'll give you the money, right? But because he knew that somehow I could make the value of money back. So it's simple. So I think results will speak for itself. And the nature of results is such that you need 6 out of 10 wins. I always say to be a champion, you don't need 10 on 10. You need 6 on 10. At the end of it, when all the tally happens, you should be on the positive tally. Whether it's +1 or +1 or +20 does not matter. You have to be in the plus. And as long as you're in the plus, your parents will support you, is what I feel. Let's say you started a baking business. All of a sudden, you're making cakes. Your mom would, of course, get concerned that if you're making cake every day and you're giving it to everybody, and you have grandparents, old grandparents, and they also love eating sugar, but it's not good for them, and they're like concerned for everybody, they'll stop you, of course. But let's say you baked cakes for every single relative, and they ordered more cakes, and now you're able to make at least 1,000, 2,000 rupees in a month. I'm sure they'll see the progression. In fact, the craziest part, at least I have 3 girls sitting here, and if it's boys, some of their passions are video games, right? They're so strong. I'm not saying girls aren't into video games, but they're like, sir, how do I convince my mom to do e-sport or video game? I'm saying, listen, make money out of it. I don't know how you will make money, just make money out of it. You go back and then you say, compare it to your actual job that you would get after placements. If it's more, your parents will agree.
So let's say you're hiring interns. What would you expect out of us?
I do expect a lot of things, but if you want me to bottom line boil it down, I think the key word is figure it out, right? Like you must have the ability to figure it out. For example, let's say if I say, can you get me, okay, let's host an event here at this space for 40 people, which needs food, which needs tickets, which needs promotion, all of that. If you come and tell me, sir, how do I make a ticket? Sir, where do I find food for this? I can tell you, but I didn't hire you for that. But if you go to Google, if you figure it out, and if maybe your uncle is into the food industry and you call him up and say, hey uncle, listen, can you give me a number of somebody who I can just quickly talk to, we have an event. Somehow, if you have the ability to figure it out, I think that's the one thing I absolutely love about interns, if you can figure it out. And I think that's the trick. Because you're showcasing the ability to learn, right? Like, and when entrepreneurs or HRs select you into the job, they're looking out for people who can solve problems. And if you somehow find that knack of solving that problem, no matter how smart or how not so smart you are, you stand a chance in any company. In fact, not just my company, in fact, in any company. So I think that's the key. That's really the key. And sometimes I'll also look for proof of concept. Like you should either show me proof of previous work which is related to this done, or you should show me that you have some sort of knowledge. Maybe you've read a book, you've heard a podcast, or maybe you have a friend who does it, so you have some sort of knowledge. Like you were just saying, one of your mom's business gives you insights into what you should do. So you must have a reference point for you to at least fall back on. And if you tell me that, then I'll know you're heading in the right thought and direction. But if it's completely vague and you're just saying, sir, I'm interested, I'm jobless right now, nobody's selecting, this is not a charity place. I don't do charity. When I'm paying you money in exchange for your work, then yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so anytime you're applying for an internship or job, the first thing they see is your resume.
Correct.
So how do you make that more attractive?
Nice. Okay, that's a good question and possibly a big answer, but I'll chop it down as much as possible. Number one, your resume has to be super attractive in terms of color and in terms of visual appeal. Now, so you will have to put everything into order, spacing out should be equal, and you should know what to put first. This is basic. Second, when you are actually writing a resume, make sure you put things that are relevant to your job you're applying for. If you played 9th standard Coco and 12th standard you did Rangoli competition, you can't be applying for a marketing job with that written on your resume, even though that's the only thing you've done in your life. What would you do instead? Go to Coursera, go to some sort of course, do that course quickly, get that PDF certificate, put it on. Second, see if you can watch a few videos, right? And even if you can tell me on your resume that one of your pastimes and passions is to just sit and watch TEDx talks which are associated with neurobiology or social media marketing or whatever I'm hiring for, it aligns. There should be alignment between what you say and what the job requires. A lot of times people just put what they have. They don't care what the person is going to say. So I think this is the next most important thing. Finally, don't have a resume which is more than 1 page. My ideal resume should be just one side. Just give me one side of a resume, and if it's good, trust me, even without blinking, and I'll hire you. But if you've given me a 3-page resume and you're a piece of shit, what happens is I'm not going to value you. For me, then even if I get a little bit of doubt, you become a piece of shit. Because now you've written so much and you're not giving me strong, sturdy answers. So why will I even take you, right? So for me, that's the differential. Keep it simple, keep it light, keep it one point. If it's not too much, don't fluff, don't beat around the bush, but just keep it real. Just keep it real. I think that's the secret.
Okay, so you started out your company, right? So what are the initial challenges that you faced? Probably we could learn from it.
Okay. Now, okay, I'll tell you from a college student's perspective more than what I faced. Okay, I'll tell you what are the tendencies that you might get into. The tendency of power. When you're in college, you want to be the apple of everybody's eye. It's a given. You're supposed to feel that way. I'm not saying you're wrong, but focusing and driving through that direction is a dead end. You don't have growth there. So understand that, don't chase power. Don't do entrepreneurship because you get the tag of being an entrepreneur. And if you do that, you will really be putting yourself in a lot of trouble. And second, it also impacts your confidence. Because the moment you start a business without experience and without social proof, there's a high chance you'll fail. And that doesn't mean it's the end, but you'll believe it's the end because you're young. Because you tend to take things personally, right? Now, just imagine if I made fun of you in front of 10 people. Chances are 3 out of 5 people will actually take it seriously because they were offended. So you will, right now is the time where you take everything personally because you're supposed to. But you'll also realize there's a big bad world out there which is going to throw a lot of harsh things. So eventually you'll make peace with it. So my first thing is, don't let power get to your head. The power usually comes from, okay, I'm going to hire people. They are my employees. They get to do what I'm going to say. Listen, they're not your slaves. You know what happened for people who captured slaves? They're no more. They don't exist. So you will be obsolete as well. So first understand, you got to hire people who are actually smarter than you, not people who are stupider than you. That's the first idea. And as long as you can accept that I can hire people smarter than me, don't start a company. Second, just because you can solve a problem doesn't mean that solution is required by everybody else. So, like, I'll give you an example. Just because I could speak good English and I could speak confidently on stage doesn't mean that everybody requires public speaking skills, because they don't. How does a common laborer require public speaking skills? He just needs communication, like verbal speaking skills. People who don't go on stage are so many more people. So then I realized not everybody requires public speaking, right? So and that's fine. So I think you think you've found out the next big thing, but the problem is 20 other people have already found that out. They've tested it and it did not work, and that's why you don't know about it. If you got it, chances are you're an average brain, not an Einstein yet. You will be, you have all the traits to be. So I feel, remember that there are way more smarter people than you in the world, and they would have somehow come across this idea. So instead of directly diving into the business and just starting it off, calling your friends, hey, let's print visiting cards and all of that, that's usually the tendency. That's exactly what I did. The first thing I did was print a visiting card. Nothing else I did. Okay. I think go do some research. Go talk to somebody who's in the same line of business. So let's say you want to design something like a podcast set. First, go work with somebody who's already doing it. Do it with them. Find out all the difficulties and then start your company. So gain experience. I think you underestimate experience a lot when you're in college, and you overestimate yourself. So I think that's the problem. So these are a few things. Okay guys, thank you so much for doing this. I know we didn't plan this a lot, but you guys were sweet enough to just ask me some questions straight from the heart. And I hope this helps the people watching, and this should also inspire me to do more such sessions. So guys, give me your honest feedback.